I'll give them a shout out. I don't even know if they still exist, but Run Riot, they're the ones that made this solid aluminium subframe for me. Sent it out to Japan when I conveniently crashed.
Helicoil number 2. Yeah, this next bit definitely going to be a pain.
It's starting to get tasty.
Won't go one way or the other.
So what's your theory here then, Ollie? What are you thinking?
Match. Bit of fuel.
Is that just spinning?
Yes. Oh, that one's already got a nut on the back actually.
Is it?
I think so, yeah. I can't see it from that side. Let's get the torch. Yeah, that has got a nut, so I can get a spanner on that and tighten that one up. And then we'll deal with this bottom one. You can see is loose because there's a gap between the subframe and the main frame.
Gotcha.
And I think you can see the time cert, just about see the time cert in there. Top one I can't see because the wiring harness. Oh, there's a lot of bolts sticking through, so we can stick a nut on that if there isn't one.
Yeah, can see that.
Can you see if there's a nut on that? Is there?
No, there's no nut.
Okay, so we can get a nut on the back of that one.
So that's the rear brake cylinder reservoir there.
And it's just in the way of me getting onto that nut because I want to get into this gap here for this nut, and it's just in the way. But I can't traditionally get to the bolt that's holding it to the frame because it's an aftermarket subframe and the hole isn't there. Yeah. And I don't really want to.
That'll be why there was a hole there on the original one then.
Yeah, I'll go in from the top with a ratchet spanner. That one's actually alright, so that side is now tight because that one had a nut on the back of it that just needed nipping up. So now it's this side that's going to be, we think it's going to be the problem, isn't it?
No way it was as easy as that, surely.
Yeah, it didn't need a lot, that one actually.
Wow.
Yeah, this one, the time cert's spinning.
Yeah, you can see
actually, you can see, yeah, that is. So I've got to get the bolt out the time cert and then we'll put a longer bolt in with a nut on the back for now.
Would that pass an MOT then, like that?
Yeah, I don't see why not, as long as it's secure, yeah.
Wow.
Problem is, that's just spinning. The bolt's welded it, or has seized itself to the
There's not something
insert.
all the way, there's not like a sleeve all the way around, it just looks like a small bit is wedged in there.
Can you turn the ratchet while I just look at that so I can work out what it's doing? Oh yeah, the thread has totally gone, hasn't it? Okay, so that's the bolt we can see. No, it's the back of the time cert we can see.
That's what the little flat thing is.
Yeah, the flat thing. It's not the end of the bolt. Bolt's inside that. Okay, so I've got to somehow hold the time cert because the bolt won't go in or out. It's just spinning. So we've got to somehow get the time cert out. I might take the rear foot pegs off just to give me a bit more space. We're going to have to disassemble to reassemble.
It's starting to get tasty. So this bolt here is just spinning. We can't tighten it up and we can't loosen it because the bolt is just spinning round. It's not biting against anything.
It won't go one way or the other.
So what's your theory here then, Ollie? What are you thinking?
Match. Bit of fuel, set it alight. No, I'm joking. I'm going to take the rear foot peg off.
No, I was thinking, heat it up so it expands. No,
I meant the whole
set
bike.
The whole
bike. I'm going to take the rear foot peg off so we can get a bit more, so we don't bang our head trying to get in there. Gotcha. And then we've got to try and hold the time cert still so that the bolt will undo. Then we can deal with the time cert. That's the theory anyway. Right, so that one undoes. We can pull the subframe out enough that we can get a pair of mole grips on the insert, hold the insert, undo the bolt. The job's a good one.
Exactly what he said.
Don't trust anything I say. Yeah, see, now we can do.
Oh wow, yeah, it's loads
so
of...
if you look round here, the time cert has come straight out the frame.
So what's a time cert? What's that?
It's kind of like a helicoil, but a helicoil has a thread that's open, so you can have a bolt go all the way through.
Yeah.
The time cert, it's capped, so it's got an end on it, which is what that is there. They do essentially do the same job, just in a slightly different way. I need a pair of mole grips. I'll be back.
I'll be back. I love this bike. I could just sit and look at her all the time. Love it.
It's just in the most awkward of places.
Is there anything I can do? Not in life in general, I mean for this specific job.
I was thinking flip the kettle on, but...
I can make you a brew. Do you want a brew?
Yeah, why not? Let's have a brew.
I know my place. TeapotOne after all. Time for some silky smooth Peter McKinnon B-roll while I make a brew. always milk first. Always. The perfect brew. Look at that. Telling you, the secret, genuinely, milk first. Only a wee bit of milk. You don't need a lot of milk, obviously, unless you like it milky. But even then, ease off your milk a bit. Put it in first, before the tea bag. Oh, I'm gonna go make a coffee. Hello, puppy. How you doing? Hello, you. Who's this? Say hello, internet. This is Pippa. She's an idiot. Who's your good girl? Who's your good girl? I love her. Right then, Ollie, what's happening? Where are we at?
Well, I'm trying to thread the frame behind the subframe, so we've got the bolt out eventually. I haven't got a longer bolt to put in, funny enough, to put a nut on the back, which would be the easiest option for now, just to try and keep it going. I'm going to run a thread through it, which oversizes, and then you run the helicoil in, which then brings it back down to the original size, so you can put a bolt back in.
Okay.
That's the theory, as long as it goes to plan. Depends if there's enough meat left on the frame from where the insert had already been put in, to whether I can cut, whether it cuts deep enough to hold the helicoil in place.
Gotcha, yeah.
Or whether as I wind the bolt in, the helicoil will wind out the back, although they don't normally do that because they're cut in a certain way that they only go one way.
One way, yeah.
But it's cutting very easy, which kind of suggests there's not a lot of meat.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it had already been done once at least.
Yeah, I think it had already been re-threaded. Swarf out.
Oh yeah.
So we've cut as much thread as we can with the new oversized thread, and then the helicoil will bring it back down to original thread.
So the helicoil is like a sleeve that you fit inside the hole.
It's basically recreating the thread. So you oversize the hole to the outer thread so that this can wind in, and then that then takes the original size bolt back in like that.
Gotcha.
So I've got to go through the subframe to get to the frame.
Yeah.
Hopefully I've got enough. The problem is actually the length of that isn't going to allow me to. I must be able to adjust it.
Oh yeah, you need that longer.
Yeah, because if not, this is going to bottom out in here, and then we're not going to get any further. In theory, I'm going to be threading this through the subframe, and then it's going to come out, and then I'm going to carry on threading it through the frame. So I might have to drill out the frame, the subframe, so this just goes through, if that makes sense. But we'll have an attempt with it going through the pair first. Is that coming through?
Yeah, it's coming through. So I might want to move.
That's right. I just want to be able to see.
Yeah, it's probably more important that you can see.
I could have actually. Wonder if I take the top bolt back out. Yeah, see that's getting too. It's stretching. So what I'll do is we'll try and move the subframe out of the way. Actually, it'll be an easier.
So we're going to take the subframe off
out of the way and try and just helicoil, run the helicoil straight into the into the frame. Sorry, take it off without taking it off. If that makes sense.
It's all problem solving, isn't it? This mechanics lot. That's why I'm useless at it. So you can just pull the subframe out of the way.
Yeah, and then just
bypass that first hole.
Yeah, and without having to drill the hole any bigger.
That's clever.
Although, trying to get onto this straight. There we go.
Gosh.
And the trick is, as you widen it in, I'm actually pulling out on the tool, because if I push, it will jump a thread, and then the bolt won't know where to go because it will be.
Right.
So you
want the thread to find its own seating. So
so as you're winding it in, you're pulling out. If that makes sense.
Insert smutty comment here.
And it's actually quite a nice tight fit, and then we'll get that flush, like so.
Done.
Now we can put the new bolt in, assuming we've got the right.
So that's it with a helicoil. You don't like fix it in there at all. It's purely because the thread.
You can't see it, but on the helicoil, on the back thread where it's winding into your new thread that you've created, this is actually shaped in a certain way that it will wind in, but it won't wind out. If I try and put the tool in and wind that out, it grips.
Gotcha.
So as this is winding in, it will, in a sense, be pulling that towards itself, and it will lock itself into
a one-way process.
So the only way for me to get that out is to carry on winding it all the way through the back.
Right.
I couldn't bring it back out forward if I wanted to because of, you can't see it, but it's designed in a way that, because if not, as you were winding this in, it would just pull it out, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to want to take. For some reason it's pulling it back out, but I can't see if I'm going in at an angle. Let me see from the other side. This bit of the bike's biting back.
It is. We knew it was coming.
We've had it too easy up until now.
Oh, so it's starting to now. Pulling it in now.
Yeah, but I think it's actually pulled the first section of the insert out. Yeah, it's there, isn't it? It's such an awkward place to get to.
Especially with someone shoving a camera in it. So what you reckon by loosening the top?
Well, pull it. No, see, it's pulling the insert out. Now I'm going to struggle. That's weird because this is the original bolt from the top. This one.
See, this is why I only ever use 3 bolts anyway. Probably just warped, hasn't it, over time?
Maybe. Yeah, look. I can that bolt up now. That's right. We can pull that out. Now that that's coming out the back, we could probably pull that out. Well, there's nothing saying the subframes. I mean, it does look a bit twisted. Is
that going to affect my lap times?
Yes. It's going to make them quicker.
Maybe you can't make them slower. That and maybe the buckled rear wheel. I'll just get the excuses in now, folks, you know. For my 3-minute Brands Hatch Indy Circuit lap. Doing stuff without me filming it, Ollie.
Sorry, just too quick for you.
I'm saying
you
nothing.
Can't keep up. Got to get it started, which is always the pain. There's so little thread at the beginning. I think where the time cert's been spinning. Helicoil number 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go beyond the front because the front is where it tends to want to snap the tang off. There we go. Let's just check that that goes in without the stress of it's not happy. It is not happy. I think we're going to go with plan B.
Bolt.
Yeah.
Nut.
Right, good. Eventually we could grind the that washer off the outside of the bolt and then it will just go in properly. But for now, we'll get them both on. Is that fully in?
Yeah, it is.
Is that fully in?
Not quite. Still got about 5 mil maybe. You have a look.
Have we run out of thread on the bolt? No, it's a little bit crooked. That's as tight as that goes.
It's weird that, isn't it? You can see it. They don't match up, do they?
No. I think that's because it's not a genuine subframe. Because it had a gap there.
Yeah.
Even with the time cert.
Yeah.
That's as far as that's going.
Okay then. So subframe's on.
Next step. Rear suspension. Let's do rear. And then it's all at the front.
Suspension. This is what
bushes,
you thought is
suspension bushes.
Utter pain.
Yeah, this next bit definitely going to be a pain. Now we've done the subframe, we could put the tank on and run it.
Why do you need to run it?
Well, just because we've done plugs, oil, we need to run it to recheck fluids, don't we?
Cool.
So if we ran it now, by the time I've done that and that, the engine would be cool enough for me to check coolant again. Because you can't check the coolant straight away because of the temperature. So if we put this rear foot peg back on, and then we'll run it next, put tank on and run it, and then while it's cooling down for us to check fluid levels, oil and coolant, I can be taking the rear suspension bushes off, linkages out and getting that side of things done. That's the plan. We are good to go. Oil's good, coolant's good.
Tank's back on. Moment of truth.
See if she...
Let's go.
Of course we had the problem of the kill switch, didn't we?
Oh yeah, that corroded a bit, hadn't it?
Yeah, and it was stopping the fuel pump from priming up.
There
like
we go.
That.
Now it kicks in.
We'll take that apart.
You can see that on there, 161,383 kilometres, which is about 100,000 miles.
Let's see if we can't. How many miles?
100,864 miles on a 61 plate GSXR1000. There we go. Yeah, baby! Woo-ha!
Yeah, the cam chain gets quieter.
Yeah.
Because it's been sitting for so so long, they're oil-fed camshaft tensioners, so the oil has drained out the tensioner. So when you start it up, it takes a while for it to funnel back into it, and then it shuts itself up.
Yeah. I love this bike. Ah. Yes. Oh, there she is. Morning.
We didn't get any fuel, did we? Because that's still running on the old fuel.
It is, the old crappy stuff.
And it's flashing, so it's low, so we could do with some fresh stuff.
That throttle still feels lovely, doesn't it?
Yeah,
really tight.
nice.
There's hardly any play in it.
Yeah.
I love this bike. Right, let me go and get some fresh fuel.
Yeah.
Right, let me turn my mic off.
Sounds a little bit flat. Just sounds a little bit flat. Like maybe it's got a coil pack, a coil stick, you know, that was on top of the plug caps. One of them may be breaking down. You can hear it just dropping. And then that's it. It's ticking over low, so that doesn't help. See, it's trying to pick up.
Yeah.
But that could be the fuel. It could be a number of things, but you know, it's not stalling. And it's revving, it's on all four. So
Right, let me go and get some more.
no worries. I'll start undoing some of this stuff.
Right, so this is now the meat and two veg. We're going to be dealing with the rear suspension, the linkages. This is what Ollie was not worried about, but this is the job he said can be a real stinker. So bearing in mind she's been fairly straightforward so far, this could be the issue because there's a lot of play in this. So mate, what's the issue here then? You're going for a bigger gun?
Yeah, the little gun's not going to cut the mustard on this one because the suspension linkage has probably never been apart. We'll just use the bigger gun. This is the next step now, getting this suspension linkage all off, and we'll press the bearings out next. Nut number one.
That's easy, don't know what you're worried about.
Yeah, getting the nuts off is not the...
You don't struggle getting the nuts off?
Nah.
No, good lad.
Now we're struggling. I think we spoke too soon.
Oh.
Even with the gun, that does not want to come on. There's so much stuff caked on it.
Alright, it's been around the world, Ollie.
That is true. I'll let it off.
Have I told you about that, folks?
I haven't heard you mention it.
I've got a captive audience. I could tell you all about the trip. Right, well it all started back in...
Right, that's all of them out. But there's nothing saying the bolts are going to come out because they do tend to seize. These do tend to seize in.
Right, can I do something here?
No,
Up a
that's
bit,
fine.
down a bit.
There we go. The back one at the top has that. And that should come off of there. How is that one so nice and clean?
Yeah.
And that one so nice and dirty? That one is the one that's seized in. Because they tend to weld themselves to the bearings. Like that. So that one isn't going to come out. You can see where it's gone.
Why's that then?
It's just through heat and getting dry, I guess. It just they weld themselves together, which means we can't get it out
at all.
No, because the bolt is seized in. So we're going to spray it, let it penetrate a little bit. We can do the other bits while we're waiting for that one to come out, if it wants to come out.
Do you have some magic lined up just in case?
Might have to get the special tool out.
Enough said.
Off camera special tool. More disassembling. Well, if we can't get it off, it's not the end of the world. I'll have to try and do that top one with it in the way, but it's not ideal.
I have cans and cans and cans of WD-40 if you want. They kept sending me stuff and I was like, I don't do any mechanics. You know, I don't do any hands-on stuff. But that's all right.
But now it's coming in handy.
I could finally
make use of it.
Yeah. No, it's still not turning now.
There's nothing, is there? I don't think that's going to come apart. We're going to have to do that. So there's a bush and spacer in the swinging arm, this one here, that we're going to have to do, which you have to do in situ anyway, unless we take the swinging arm out. But if the exhaust wasn't there, it would make life a lot easier. we'll work around it.
Bear with us.
She's not budging.
Is this the intricate bit?
Yeah. Wow, no wonder.
Something came flying out.
Yeah, the back one. All the bearings just, well look, they're rusty, they've gone everywhere. It's dry as anything.
Okay then, Ollie. Where are we at?
Well, we cannot get the linkage arm off this arm. We cannot get this arm off the frame where it goes from the frame to the suspension. The bolt won't come out because this bush, or a bush like that, has welded itself to the bolt, so the bolt won't come out because that being pinched inside isn't allowing the bolt to come out.
Yeah.
So we might have to get a bit drastic and try and cut the lot off and then get a new linkage arm, because that front bearing is the one that's definitely gone.
Yeah.
It's probably never been greased, so we might have to try and cut it off and start again. That's not as easy said, or easy done as said.
The beast bites back.
Plus side, I've done your tyre pressures.
You have you?
Yeah, and all the valves are good, they're not cracking or splitting, so we haven't got to replace any of that sort of thing. So there's two ways of looking at that now. We either attempt that now and cut it off, but if we do that, we've got no way of them, we've got no unit to put back in it.
Yeah.
Which means it's stuck
Yeah.
like this, or we put it back together so it's usable, as in like, so we can move it, and we attempt that when we know we've got the new part.
Yeah.
I could already press the bearings in so that when we get it, we've got less to do. I can press them in ready into a second-hand arm because it's just an alley rod. It's not, doesn't need to be brand new. And then we cut it, do all that dirty work, get rid of that, and put the new one straight in, so that then it's going back together. So because I could put 3 bolts back in there on these, and take the front end out and do the front, so that the full coil and the head bearings are done, and the bike can still come off the ramp and move. But as soon as we commit to cutting that, if we haven't got the new part to put back on, which we haven't, we're stuck. So I would suggest we put that back together.
Yeah, definitely.
And call that another day and have the parts ready. All we'll have as a mindset is we've got to cut that off.
Yeah.
Where at the moment we're like, oh, I've got to cut that off, but at the same time I've got to do this, and this. We could do that and focus purely on that one thing.
No, I'm 100% up for that.
Okay.
I need to be able to move this in and
Exactly, yeah. So you can get that lot in.
Yeah.
So there's no point in cutting it. So
we're stuck.
and we can't then put anything on the suspension, so it can't move.
Gotcha.
So let's put it back together now that we've hit a hurdle.
You got that, didn't you? You heard all that.
Yeah.
So now jack the front up.
Yeah,
Tackle
jack it
front.
up, get the front off the ground, take the wheel out, calipers, mudguard, forks, head bearings. So we'll do so much and then I'll probably let it down, because I'm a bit of a height restricted person. I can't get to it. Hasn't got to go high off the ground.
Little beastie.
If that moved, I'd shit myself.
That's clean enough. Hoping we can get it all out. It's a good colour.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I need to take the cartridge out because most of it's below the cartridge. But we're not doing the seals, so we don't need to go full strip down.
Bear in mind that they've not been touched since Australia. Japan.
Right.
My mate Pete Wilkinson, who I lived with, who lifesaver, he helped me. Well, he rebuilt the bike when I crashed it.
Right. Another special tool I've got to get out. Might be better off doing it in the.
What, a special tool or an actual proper special tool?
See
yeah, got you.
See that shape there? There's a tool for going in there.
Gotcha.
Which I've got. So I don't really want to split the two and disturb the seal, because the seal's happy and we're not doing the seal. So let's keep that as it is. I'll go and clamp it in the vise, undo that one, pull the cartridge up, and then I can get the rest of the fluid out. Just stripping the forks down now just to get to everything. This is where the spring and everything goes flying.
Yeah.
Which is why you have to cover it with your hand. There you go. said special tool. We can take the damper rod out.
I'm just going to move round and get the shot as you pour it into the jug.
No worries. Like we said, it's not a bad colour.
It's not bad at all.
No. You sure it hasn't been done?
Dan at DMP,
Yeah.
he's serviced it once, maybe twice. Once I was back
But
and
didn't
had
do
it
forks.
MOT'd.
But didn't do the forks?
No, I don't think so. There's never any reason to.
No. Well, that's one stripped down and drained. Drained enough anyway. That's,
Gotcha.
you know, that's enough coming out for us to freshen that up. Messy job. Right, we'll go and get the new fluid. Now we've just got to reassemble them and put the oil back in. So, we're going with the plunger,
Tell you what, I'll come round that side.
spring, cut with the flange facing.
This is a nice setup you got in here.
It's not bad, it does the job.
Portable garage.
Well, nothing worse than getting somewhere and driving for an hour to get to a customer to find out you haven't got the right tools or parts. So you got to
Gotcha.
try and carry everything you can.
Go on then, use this as your pitch.
Oh, I couldn't.
Alright, so,
But anyone in the south of London,
anyone in South London,
yeah,
you're mobile, you go to them. Any
Yeah.
bike?
any bike near enough.
Is there anything you don't do?
Tend to not work on scooters, to
Okay.
be honest. But that said, the big scooters, the Japanese scooters, I will work on. If anyone's unsure, you just call me and I'll tell you whether I can or not.
Awesome. Details down below. Do you do MOTs?
Nah, it's the one thing I can't do being mobile. I'd love to be able to do MOTs mobile because you have to be in a fixed building for that.
Gotcha.
But if the MOT people want to reach out and make me the first mobile MOTer, then I'm up for that.
There you go.
Oh, I assume there's none out there. I don't think you can do it mobile. Right, that is the same amount as we took out, and we've not lost a drop. We just got to purge the air out.
Good action that, Ollie. Good action.
Yeah, plenty of practice.
Starting to feel a bit awkward now.
Purging out, that's good. We'll let that settle and work the last few bubbles out, and then we'll put the damper rod and everything else in. Mind your head though, because I'm not. I don't hit my head, but some people do.
That's sauna in here.
I know it is. Yeah, it's nearly as hot as your garage. You like that, don't you?
Get lumpy.
Right.
Almost jealous of a
That's
piston.
good. Reclamp it. Just working its way back in. Take that off. Just nip that up. Do the damper rod back up. Grease around the O-ring. That. And we nip that up when it's back in the bike. Full coil number 1.
One done, or one to go.
But I mean, I shouldn't be able to undo that by hand. So,
Oh,
and
they've hit the
they
whole
might
thing.
have angle grinded the old bearing off. Sod's law, when you want it to come out,
It won't.
it doesn't. Because your tank's not sitting quite in the right place because the back mount's broke.
Good feeling to have, like, coming back to life.
Yeah.